I'll let you know when it's live.
Okay, then I'll start the recording.
You are live. I'll let you know when it's live.
Okay, I'm all set here too, Doug. Okay,
You're live.
roll call.
Thank you. All right, call the meeting to order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Dan Hines,
Here,
Rudy Galla here, Richard Ishfording,
Here.
Rick Foster,
Present.
Chet Yannick,
Here.
Ty Wessel,
Here.
and John Gallagher.
Present. All right, at this time, I'd look for approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same. Passes.
Just one clarification, Trudy, when we do roll call for people that are
Oh,
remote,
that's right.
they need to state where they are remote.
I forgot that. Should we back up to that?
Yes.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so Dan and Rick, you are to say where you are calling in from for our minutes. That's a requirement that we now need to follow. Like the township that you're in.
okay, Dan Hines calling in from Bingham Township.
Rick Foster. I am zooming in from Leelanau Township.
Thank you.
Thank you both. At this time, I'll look for the approval of the minutes from January 19th, 2021 as presented.
I have some changes.
Proceed.
Page 3 of 6, top of the page where it starts off Hines proposed. I would suggest deleting, replacing promote with, and insert adding the words, and then what's typed already, which is affordable housing and, well, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Hines proposed adding the words affordable housing after the word promote on item 1. And when we get to the correspondence, we'll have to make that change also. That hasn't been adjusted yet, the listing of goals. So it should read, Hines proposed adding the words affordable housing after the word promote in item 1, and then mentioning asking the county board for financing. Also on page 3 of 8, the section is bylaws and policies and procedures review. The last line in the first paragraph is spelled C-O-U-N-C-I-L. It should be C-O-U-N-S-E-L. Page 4 of 8. The second full paragraph, the 13th line that says story design, comma. Story design, comma, using the same requirements that currently used for single family homes. You should delete the word they. And page 6 of 8, under member chair comments, fourth line says step in and purchase. Should say step in and purchase it for affordable. Insert the word housing, period. That's it.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 19th, 2021 as amended?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
I'm abstaining because I don't have that many pages in my minutes. And I'm not quite certain why.
All right, that's noted. Thank you, Dan, for the corrections.
Okay.
Public comment. Phone number for public comment. Mr. Janik.
Yeah, it's 231-256-8109. 231-256-8109.
If anybody has public comment, please call in and we'll stop our discussion to take public comment at that time. So we're going to just move into discussions and action items. The bylaws and policies and procedures approval. This was emailed 2/4/21. And true to these email pages that are in the packet are basically the changes.
Both documents have been marked up by the attorney in red. He went through all those to make sure that we were citing the right statute, to make everything consistent between the two documents. And then Dan had submitted some questions which were ran by the attorney. And so on page 7 of your packet, at the bottom is Dan's comments. And at the top is the responses from our attorney. So the bond, John, I don't know if that is something that you can answer. I'm not sure about the security bond that's needed. Item number 2 there talks about the fact that the land bank could actually eliminate the position of treasurer, since we have a county treasurer assuming those duties. So that section might need a little tweaking if the members feel it should be changed. And then at the bottom is the comment about the audit, which the audit is done through the county's audit already. The land bank is included in that county's audit. So still there's a couple of little changes there that you might want to address.
I can address the security bonds. To my knowledge, as being the elected official and representing as the county treasurer, I am bonded, and that bond carries over to my duties here at the land bank. As the land bank was designed as a foreclosure tool for the treasurers, I think that's where the bond for the land bank is covered. And I don't know if it would change if I am no longer chair or the treasurer is no longer chair. And then it would have to seek its own bond. Yes, Dan.
So then if everybody has the red-lined document of bylaws, I would suggest then that on page 7, item 10.2, where that bond is discussed, All I would suggest is add an additional sentence at the end that says, as an alternative, the security bond may be obtained by the county at the county's expense. So that would tie up what was written before. It says the land bank has to have it and the land bank has to pay for it. So the attorney says as an alternative, you could say what I just said. So I would suggest that that be added.
And the purpose of having the county bear the expense versus the land bank, just for clarity?
I don't care either way. It's just that the land bank hasn't, I don't see it on the books and records that we're paying for the bond, even though the bylaws says we need to pay for that.
The county currently pays my bond through the general fund. So
And
my only suggestion then would be to say that the county or the county land bank may.
that's fine.
How much money are we talking? What does it cost with that bond? You know?
It's aggregated. I don't know. All elected officials have them. For me, it's $1 million coverage.
Well, does that covers you? So if it carries over to the land bank, does it cover each of us as members or cover the land bank in whole, or is it still just covering you?
It's the activities of the treasurer's office. And as I've been told that this is an extension of the duties of the treasurer's office, taking care of foreclosed.
Does that take care of the new treasurer or the land bank commission treasurer? I cover too.
No,
Yeah, you know, allowed to sign checks worth,
but it's audited.
yeah, but don't you think that that's coverage should apply to all of us too?
I don't disagree with that. I mean, it would not hurt to pursue, talking to MMRMA and seeing if there is
We might be covered.
yeah.
I'm guessing we are, but we can confirm that.
So we could follow back up and make sure that this board is covered and get clarity on how my bond interacts with the land bank. So I'll have to come back to that. Does that make sense to you guys?
Whatever the attorney said is what I put as wording. So, but I guess you got to go back farther to make sure that the county's bond is all inclusive of the members of the land bank. And while you're at it, probably the Brownfield group.
Yeah.
And my comments were just brought up because the way the bylaws are drafted and have been that way for, I guess, many years, it makes it sound like the land bank is the one that has to take the lead in getting the bond for at least $100,000 and reflect the expense on the books of the corporation, which is the land bank.
Well, and the thing is, what's curious is it's never been brought up during audit. You think our auditors would have made a note or made a suggestion if that was an issue, so.
Then it'll be it'll be interesting when we talk about the section where it says the land bank has to have an audit. I'm surprised that hasn't been brought up by the auditors then. So we'll get into that, what the attorney says on how to handle that one.
Well, we do have an annual audit.
Yeah, we are audited every year.
The county, but not the land bank.
And land bank is a part of that.
No, I submit the trial balance and our bank statements to our auditors for review. And we are a component unit of the government, county government, so it is a footnote in our annual audit.
Sure, I understand that. You're part of a single audit. But the bylaws said that the land bank has to get an audit the land bank members have to form a committee, an audit committee, to go over all of that. All I'm trying to do is clarify.
Yes, sir. I think we can simply reduce and redact that. Because we are a component unit, and for the past, we're going on 12 years that the land bank has been established, that it's always been incorporated in the general county audit to eliminate the need for a special audit or a single audit as it be termed. And we can remove that there needs to be an audit committee.
That's fine with me, but I think, I can't find it now, but I think the attorney said that it's a requirement to have an audit. So I don't think we can just delete that part of the bylaws, the section 11.5. And
Not deleted, but clarify that it is
All right.
part of.
well, then what I would suggest then, just at the end of 11.5, say as an alternative, this is what the attorney said. As an alternative, the county and its audit committee may assume the auditing responsibilities if the land bank is included in the county's audit.
And the county itself doesn't have an audit committee, it's the board as a whole.
No, actually, we do have on a committee.
You do have an audit
Yes.
committee?
It's a finance
Only very-
committee.
Do have a committee. Audit and Finance Committee, which we met, remember? You were-
Yeah. I didn't know it was audit too.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, I have no objection. Any other comments on that one?
I don't know.
Now, when we get to treasurer, that's item 7.6. What the attorney is suggesting is that, well, the way I wanted it, I wanted the first two sections, A and B, to say the county treasurer is responsible to have custody of the corporate funds and all that. Well, the attorney said, no. The land bank treasurer has the responsibility. So and it's very cumbersome what I'm going to have to explain here, but in 7.6 A and B, you just have to massage the wording to put in there, the treasurer is responsible to oversee the preparation of financial statements. The treasurer is responsible for the disbursement of the funds of the corporation as ordered by the board. And the treasurer is responsible for the preparation of financial statements each quarter or such other intervals as the board of directors shall direct. So that covers us, I believe, if you say that the treasurer is responsible. But in reality, the county treasurer and his department is the one that does all this work.
Well, it's not just for this body. The statute reads for the county treasurer to be responsible for all funds. So that's
I like
where
that.
I draw the contention, because I'm in charge of the Leelanau County Road Commission, you know, the senior services. The only one that I don't is the Brownfield Authority, because they've elected not to have me on there.
I agree, except especially since you're responsible for millions of dollars of property taxes. So why aren't you responsible for $40,000 or $50,000 that we have in the land bank? However, the attorney says that it is the land bank treasurer that's responsible. He said the county treasurer is also the land bank chairperson, but he said another option would be to state that the land bank treasurer has responsibility for the custody of the corporate funds, et cetera, et cetera. So I like what you're saying. I'm just saying the attorney
Yes.
feels there should be a segregation there.
No,
Right.
I agree. I'm just trying to draw comparison to past practice and what our auditing firm has required us to do with other subsidiary agencies.
No. And
I have no objection with the proposed changes.
well, that's it for what the attorney went over. So that's all my comments.
Trudy, is there anything else to add or?
No, I'm fine with those proposed changes. If we're gonna recommend approval today, then we'll need to make sure we get a clean copy to everybody and get it to the attorney as well, make sure that we worded it properly according to what he had suggested for changes.
And bring it back in March for full adoption.
Could do that, could have him take
I
one
would
look at
recommend
it.
that, we wait till March. Let's get a clean copy.
And get it-
There's no hurry.
Is there a second on that?
Second on that.
Any other discussion? So we'll get a clean copy, present it to the attorney for review, make sure that we worded it correctly, and bring it back in March for full adoption. That's a motion on the floor for clarification.
So
So is there any other questions or comments? And all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? All right, motion passes. So we'll bring this back to you guys. Part of this is also the goals.
The goals were attached as part of the correspondence and communication.
Okay, all right, we'll hold on to that.
Well, the goals, again, going back to the change we made in the minutes,
Right.
is that the goal, we were supposed to insert and affordable housing, and that didn't make it to the final draft. So under goals, programmatic, number 1, use the land bank disposition program to promote, insert then the words affordable housing and then the rest is okay.
All right, noted. We get back to the agenda with the discussion action items of Merrick Road property discussion. As some of you may be aware or not aware, I was absent the last week for treatment. There was a lot of correspondence going back and forth regarding the bylaws and policies and procedures. The Merrick Road RFP has been drafted. But it was not ready for distribution. We're going to postpone the RFP document for approval until March. Trudy, do you have anything to add to that? Just as an update?
The members want to see that RFP for any comments before it gets finalized. Just send it out in a quick
Actually,
email if
just
anybody
send it
wants to
out.
see it.
Okay.
They might have some changes or some suggestions on it.
So are you suggesting that once we do get final approval, just go ahead and submit it for publication rather than bringing it back in March? Is that
Is there a reason to wait a whole another month?
not in my opinion, because you guys are going to be reviewing the proposals.
We have never approved RFPs at the county level. They go out.
Okay.
this board has authority when the bids come back, if there are bids, to say yes or no to any or all bids. If
Well,
there's-
I'll make it a goal to get that out then this week.
I think you just send a copy to all those just as FYI.
What about that other option, John?
The previous owner's request,
Yes. I think the numbers should be updated on that, at least, be aware of it.
yeah, the previous owners has approached us to purchase the property back. They state due to oversight and miscommunication that they lost the property to tax foreclosure and would like the opportunity to buy it back. As far as consideration, that was presented to me before I left. I did not include it in the packet because we didn't have an RFP to review and to weigh out all of our options. I have concerns on whether or not that would be a good precedent to even establish. And secondly, with the new Property Tax Act amendments that have been approved by the Senate and the Department of Treasury, the property itself is beyond, I think, we would have to have corporate counsel review it because I went and I acquired a title. They still may be able to recoup monies as the amended Property Tax Act allows. However, the transfer of the property itself was for minimum bid, which is the back taxes. So there was no gain to the county treasurer's office for the transfer of said property. I will leave it to you guys for discussion, but my concern is opening a precedent of foreclosing on people's property and then selling it back to them.
So they can submit a proposal, right? If it goes to RFP.
That's more or less my position. I know of a few interested parties that are waiting for the RFP to be published. And I guess I would defer that if there was a proposal by the previous owners, that could be considered at that time. But that's my position, and
I would think we would consider any and all proposals and make a decision at that point.
Could you remind us the RFP, is this just a proposal to purchase it, or was there going to be any restrictions on it to keep it affordable?
no.
Unit, this is just to
just
buy it.
yes. And this board will determine the highest and best use, whether it be for financial or for economical reasons, and make a determination on who would be awarded the property.
Do you need a motion to accept, consider all responses, all requests?
In our RFP, we're going to publish it, and we'll have a submit date. And once we have those aggregated, Trudy, Chet, and myself, or Laurel, will open said bids and then present them at our next meeting.
There always is a clause that we have the right to reserve, to accept or reject any or all bids.
So it's inclusive that anything that is presented to us shall be considered and presented.
John, what are the guidelines of the RFP with regard to what we would want from offering this property up in terms of what would be acceptable?
I can tell you right now that I have a nonprofit that's interested in it for affordable housing. I have a realtor. I have the previous owner. I have the neighbor interested. It is all up to this board on what we want to see there and what the best use of the property is in the consensus.
So whatever proposal someone makes, there may be different lollipops
Yes,
involved in each one of them.
correct.
We as a board then go ahead and review the 3, 4, 5, or half a dozen proposals and then make a decision.
Yes, sir. So I can't necessarily say what would be the best outcome, because we don't know what's going to be presented.
It seems like our number one goal should cover some of that.
I would agree with that.
Just one final question, will the previous owners be notified of this RFP process?
Yes, they have been, and I've already been in communication with them as late as this morning. Any other questions or? So that is my update. My goal will be to work with Trudy and get this sent out this week. And set a date hopefully to have it back before you by March, I think. Yeah, we're not asking too much. If they do a good sales pitch, I think we can make a good decision and go from there. We're not looking for drawings, we're not looking for engineered plans. And we can then agree and draft a purchase agreement that would hold them to said proposal.
Or ask for clarification.
Correct. So, is there any other business that needs to come before this board? All right. Don't believe there was any claims and accounts, so no post audit. Under correspondence and communication items, is there any further changes that need to be made to the goals adopted on 1/19 of 2021, other than Dan's suggestion? Hearing no comments, we'll move to public comments. It's 256.
8109. 231-256-8109.
If you have any comments or questions, please call in. Moving to member comments. Hearing none. I have no comments. So I would accept a motion to adjourn at this time.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor?